plead out there to all those liberals who may see this. Please look up Tylenol pregnancy on TikTok. When Donald Trump and RFK Jr. and the US FDA said there is a link found by Mount Sinai, Johns Hopkins, and Harvard, a link between Tylenol, acetaminophen, and autism, videos started to pop up of pregnant women taking Tylenol for literally no reason. In fact, one of the doctors even said, you can take it when you absolutely need to, just consider this. But because Trump said it, they start slamming Tylenol pills. And I think right there, if that is you, something is wrong. Something is very wrong. I know not every liberal is rushing out to do this, but it is insane to me that prominent liberals have come out and said Trump is a fascist, blaming women for autism when it's their own sperm. And I'm just like, okay. I get how psychotic that story is, but imagine how that instinctive gut reaction to anything Trump says manifests with stories like the Jimmy Kimmel stuff. A terrorist attacked an ABC station. Can we please stop this?
No, Tim, we can't.
Trump can. Antifa has been declared a terrorist organization, which is a meaningless legal distinction that doesn't have one. We'll see how what the reaction is from all of these major corporations, whether they take that seriously or not. But I believe that Trump is doing a trial balloon, and the Trump admin, come on, Stephen Miller knows full well, they can file Antifa as a foreign terrorist organization, which is a legal distinction, and then it gets spicy. Because then YouTube is forced by law to ban any and all support for Antifa. They're legally required to. Right now, they're not. And I think Trump is going the domestic terror route with the executive order. It's a light touch to try and massage the culture so that when he does launch the FTO designation, it won't be shocking news.
Do you think, as supporters of the First Amendment, there's any kind of contradiction there where, trying to ban Antifa or whatever? So it's obviously the violence is the issue.
Will Chamberlain changed my mind. I had been of the position that I thought was rather harsh, that we should not defend these people. I wouldn't advocate for them to be banned. They're allowed to have their opinions, but I will not defend them when they get censored. I changed my mind. Will Chamberlain changed my mind. He argued, I'm too nice, today on my Culture War interview with him, and that we must actively ban anyone who celebrates the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The reason is a society that venerates assassins is a society opening the door to civil war. And I will elaborate on his point because he's correct. What are we looking at? 10 months since the assassination of, I believe his name was Brian Thompson, right? Mm-hmm. Charlie Kirk is killed. They made saint candles of Luigi Mangione. Mm-hmm. They dance in front of his courtroom saying he's innocent. They say that he's innocent by way of doing the right thing in murdering a CEO of a corporation. Will is correct. And I will add, the people that are celebrating the assassination of Kirk don't really know or care. They're piling on to TikTok trends. Let's put a pressure on that and say, don't do it or you will be removed from these platforms. Like, no criminal charges or anything, but I explain it like this. There is a point at which all leaders, this is just standard moral philosophy, recognize there are extenuating circumstances where we must take action. Abraham Lincoln especially recognized this. We are not dealing with a stable modern society that doesn't have assassinations where something happens and some crazy people come out and cheer for it. Were it the case that there were 100,000 people in various cities that were holding up signs celebrating assassination, I'd be like, oof, I mean, that's getting dangerous, but scale matters. We're dealing with now millions, as well as high-profile prominent politicos and liberal pundits celebrating the assassination or defending it in some way. And if we allow this as a society, then we know what happens next. The person who kills the next conservative in their mind is saying, I don't care what conservatives think of me. Why? I don't hang out with conservatives. They don't pay my bills. They don't hire me for jobs. I hate them. The only thing they care about is whether they get support from the left. And if the left is celebrating and venerating assassins, these people are being told explicitly assassination is okay, and they will not only get away with it, but be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
And it's not just assassinations the left are supporting. If they see a violent crime like the murder of that Ukrainian girl, some of them will just go and support the murderer. Like they set up a GoFundMe page for the murderer. And in other cases where the murderer is black and the victim is white, they'll instinctively support the murderer. Or, it's not just about the political thing. It's like, it's race and.
Have you ever been to Belfast?
No, I haven't actually, no.
I've only been there one time. I am far from an expert on the Troubles. But my tour guide, when I went and traveled there, the peace wall has Palestine on one side, Israel on the other. He showed me a memorial to men who massacred civilians. And it did not matter. I don't remember the exact story, but there was a memorial where apparently like 3 guys during the Troubles went into a civilian shopping area and just started gunning people down. And the people on the other side celebrated it saying, well, they're all evil, so what does it matter? And that's how insane things get. Let me jump to this story from The Independent. Scott Jennings said he told the FBI about Keith Olbermann's threat as feud between the two grows. I am going to start this segment right now by saying Keith Olbermann must be arrested for this threat he sent to Scott Jennings. I don't tolerate this. I'm not a law enforcement guy, but he must be criminally charged. I am not playing around. Let me show you what he sent to Scott Jennings. I believe it doesn't appear that they actually have it here. I think they have it in this other one. Let's pull up this one. Now, I will mention Keith Olbermann did apologize. I don't care. In this post, you can see Scott Jennings has CC'd FBI Director Cash. Keith Olbermann tweeted to Scott Jennings, a conservative commentator, "You're next, mother effer, but keep mugging to the camera." Now, I'd like to ask you some questions. Next, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, implies a first, right? And that Scott Jennings is not the first. So when he said, "You're next, mother effer," what would Scott Jennings be the second person to have happened to them in this current context? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, Keith Olbermann says it's not what he meant, but it was clearly it would be totally reasonable to assume that he was threatening your life.
Why would it in any way be reasonable to assume it could be literally anything else?
Well, I don't think that it would be, but
it would not be. And Keith Olbermann, realizing that he sent a public death threat to Scott Jennings, deleted it very quickly and then reposted something saying, "Your career is next." Now, hold on there a gosh darn minute. Was there, maybe I'm wrong, was there a conservative who got fired from their job in the past 2 weeks? Any prominent conservative personalities got fired from their job or anything?
Conservative?
Yeah. No. So when Keith Olbermann said, "You're next, mother effer," yeah. What's the first thing that happened? I mean, nothing has happened to any conservatives except for Charlie Kirk being murdered. So we get the point. And I'm going to add to it with this. I have already had my security team forward to the FBI exact messages just like this. And it is no judge is going to be so dumb as to not realize what Keith Olbermann just did. Okay, if you Google search "You're next" on X, I'm sorry, I say Google search, but because it's a reflex. If you search on X, "You're next," insert conservative personality, you will find wave after wave of death threats. They are all in the context of the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
Now, Keith Olbermann has apologized, saying, "I apologize without reservation" to Scott Jennings. Yesterday wrote and immediately deleted 2 responses to him about Kimmel because they could be misinterpreted as a threat to anything besides his career. I immediately replaced them with one specifying what I actually meant. No, he didn't. And I don't think that matters. I think the issue is the threat was sent. Scott Jennings took it as a threat. Other threats are sent in the exact same way, and we cannot tolerate this. Okay? I'm totally biased. I am taking this very personally because the exact same messages are being sent to me and my team. And we know what it means. And Keith Olbermann is in those exact same circles, seeing those exact same replies. There is no reality where he didn't know. He did it, and then he regretted it, and there must be some,
at the very least,
there must be some criminal charge, criminal action. And all I'm saying is, he goes to court, knock on his door, you say, "You're under arrest, okay, we're going to process you." They don't got to cuff him even. It doesn't got to be at 4 a.m, okay? He'll go before a judge. The judge will say, "How do you plead?" He'll say, "I plead guilty," because he got a plea bargain. 20 hours of community service. Don't do it again. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, this is Exhibit A of why a society that permits the celebration of political assassinations just invites its own destruction.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like once murder is normalized as speech, that's the end of a republic. And Keith Olbermann is giving you Exhibit A right away.
We're there, bro.
Right. Yes. I mean, so yeah, like this is just completely corrosive to the social order. This is the same reason like recruiting for terrorism is banned. It's the same reason. It's corrosive to the civic order.
Jimmy Kimmel is reportedly not going to apologize. We don't know if he will or not. I think he should. And if he does, I personally would be satisfied. But let me pause. What did Jimmy Kimmel do? He said that MAGA was trying to paint this guy as anything other than one of their own. He is now going to get the biggest audience he's had in years. And if he says, I was wrong about that, the evidence shows that this shooter actually is aligned with leftist values and was doing this because of his hatred for Charlie Kirk and because he said Charlie Kirk was hateful. If he apologizes and explains that to all of those libs, I will be satisfied. However, staff are threatening to walk out and quit their jobs if he does. So we'll see. I think if Jimmy comes out tonight and apologizes, and it's funny because a lot of people are going to watch this show tomorrow morning. If he comes out and apologizes, and I will be watching it, I will, and he apologizes, I have hope.
It's crazy how much influence these staffers can have in media organizations, because it's not just, I think, ABC, but also big media companies in America where staffers try and bully the editors, of the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and so on. They actually tried to, Jeff Bezos tried to put in a British editor into, I think, the Washington Post last year, who works for The Telegraph. He's the deputy editor of The Telegraph, which is a British conservative newspaper. Brilliant journalist, one of the best journalists I've ever worked with, incredibly talented. He would have made an incredible editor. But the staff revolted against him and this decision and against Jeff Bezos. And they started publishing hit pieces on him. And he actually pulled out of that the consideration because I think he felt that, he was going to go into this sort of lion's den, this kind of pit of these young woke graduates who work at the Washington Post and are trying to attack him. So they do this all the time. This is like a left-wing thing to do. Is just we're just going to walk out, and the bosses could just say, "Well, you're fired then. Well, if you don't want to work for us because of some political decision, you should go. I'm sure we can find lots of other producers and things like that who want to work on Jimmy Kimmel's show. It depends on whether they have the kind of courage and the balls to do that."
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.